Well, it was a very positive meeting. I think our public statement reflects that, and the statement from the Foreign Office and the Minister himself reflects that. In the moment in which we find ourselves, with Syria dominating the political agenda in the United Kingdom, the Foreign Secretary was able to continue to find time for Gibraltar. That, I think, demonstrates the seriousness with which the United Kingdom government continues to view the illegal abuses going on at Gibraltar frontier and the level of rhetoric and threat that we are continuing to see from the Spanish government.
Have you mapped out an action plan to counteract Spain's abuses?
The position, I think, has been put very clearly by both the government of Gibraltar and the government of the United Kingdom. We are all looking at exactly what it is that is happening on the ground and how to counter those actions. What we're not going to do is counter rhetoric, because if Spanish newspapers say things, people should ignore the fact that those remarks have any real effect other than to really just become tomorrow's fish and chips paper.
So, for example, queues at the border, that's action. How will you counter that?
Well, a number of things that have been said already will be done to counter the frontier queue issues. In particular, the Prime Minister's call to EU President Barroso, to EU Commission President Barroso, to come to send a team to Gibraltar to analyse what is happening at the Gibraltar frontier. We have wanted that to happen for a long time. I think Gibraltarians in particular have been seeing the queues not just for 5 days or 5 weeks or 5 months, but for 30 years. And we've always wanted the EU to become involved in making that a free-flowing frontier in keeping with the rules. That is now going to happen. We're going to have a Commission team down. That is a precursor to other action that may have to be taken if that
legal action
with it. Well, if necessary, the government of Gibraltar has made clear, and the government of the United Kingdom itself has also made clear, that legal action is one of the options on the table.
And is that something that you've explored at this particular meeting?
Well, I could get into the detail of what it is that I've talked about with the Foreign Secretary, but I'm sure that those watching this program do not want me to disclose to people in Madrid, who seem to be spending most of their time plotting how they can hurt us, advance notice of what it is that we intend to do.
Now, you say the Foreign Secretary is very supportive of Gibraltar. Do you find that he's supportive regardless of what happens, or is there a limit to that support?
No, I think you need to understand this in real political terms. The United Kingdom will be supportive of Gibraltar because Gibraltar is acting properly, is acting reasonably, and is acting within the law. If Gibraltar were to act improperly, unreasonably, or outside the law, then rightly the United Kingdom might not be politically supportive of us. You know, everything that the government of Gibraltar has done has been carefully calibrated to be within the law, to be reasonable, and to have been done absolutely properly, because that is the way that you would expect your government to behave. Now, within those boundaries, which are perfectly acceptable boundaries and what you should expect from every government, I think that we have full support from the United Kingdom. They've expressed that support in very fulsome terms, both at the level of Minister for Europe, Foreign Secretary and Prime Minister, and therefore I think that you can see real support here that you can count on. I have said on a number of occasions that William Hague has demonstrated, certainly to me and I think to the wider Gibraltarian public, that he is not just a fair weather friend of Gibraltar, he is also a friend of Gibraltar when the chips are down.
Now, to your understanding, is the UK talking to Spain at all about Gibraltar, or is there no dialogue whatsoever?
My understanding is that at the moment there is absolutely no contact in relation to Gibraltar which is producing anything positive. I don't think that Spain is willing to engage on the Gibraltar issue with the UK at an official technical level where there has always been contact, in the same way that there is always a lot of contact between Gibraltar and Spain directly at an official technical level. That has gone away. That is not happening because the Spanish belligerence has also led them to stick their heads in the sand and pretend that the only thing that's happening is what they say is happening in relation to Gibraltar.
You're meeting with the Prime Minister tomorrow. Can I have your thoughts on your expectations on what will happen at that meeting?
Well, I think people in Gibraltar will also reflect on the fact that the Prime Minister himself is leading on the Syria issue. It's the Foreign Secretary that is doing a lot of that work, but also the Defence Secretary and the Prime Minister himself. I was due to meet him today. It's perfectly understandable that the debate on Syria is about to start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and therefore 5 o'clock in the afternoon is unlikely to be a time when the Prime Minister is going to be available. And he has asked to see me 24 hours later on the Friday, and I think that's absolutely perfectly acceptable, and I'm very much looking forward to the opportunity of seeing him again. It'll be the third, in fact the fourth time that I see him in the time since I've become Chief Minister, the third time that I have an opportunity of talking to him directly in the past 9 months about issues related to Gibraltar, now particularly the issues that affect us with Spain and her belligerent stance. So I think it's a good opportunity to talk about the immediate issues and the wider Gibraltar issues, in which I know he also has an interest, because I have communicated with his office on a number of occasions, issues unrelated to the immediate problems that we are suffering today.